So we're driving.
Hey guys. It's Octo.
I know. Guess what today is?
It is
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. And our anniversary too.
It's our 1 year anniversary and my ring looks like poo-poo. Our 1 year anniversary.
I'm not wearing mine. Mine got too big for me. I'm fat.
Too big for you? You mean small?
Yeah, too small for me.
It's been a long day.
My hands got too big for me. That's the problem.
That's
yeah.
what the problem was.
There we go.
Yeah. We're in the car. We're driving. But yeah, it's our 1 year anniversary. I feel like we should drive and talk. I don't think we should like sit here in the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
From being in the car all day.
For our anniversary, we went to go back to North Carolina to visit my parents, and then we didn't do a whole lot. We went to Dave & Buster's and we went to the farmer's market. That's where I bought the flowers. And
visited one of your childhood best friends.
Yes.
Because they just had a baby, and so we went and saw them.
We got to see the baby.
Yeah, we didn't do very much. We kind of just took it low key. So probably tonight, when it's our actual anniversary, we'll probably, make dinner,
watch some Dr. Stone.
Watch Dr. Stone. just relax, snuggle. Just kind of take it slow because we've had a very busy weekend. I took Friday off and we drove. We drove Friday, took Friday off, and then, actually, technically, we drove Thursday night, all night long. And drove Thursday night all night long, and then hung out with his family Friday, just kind of chilled. Saturday, we went out and we did some stuff. So yeah, it's been a very busy weekend.
The plan is, I kind of want to do some different types of videos on my channel, see what really sticks and what I enjoy doing, and I really want to talk about some unsavory characters that are on YouTube and
plague the internet.
Plague the internet. These monsters of people. But we'll get to that. I'm not gonna spoil anything or really take away from the fun
I think what's ultimately gonna happen is I feel like you just need to find, I think you just need to play around with it. I think you just need to play around with making videos and just recording.
I just need to do it because
I think we also need to just travel more so we can have more room for vlogs. I hate vlogging at like Walmart.
Okay.
I want to like go hiking and vlog.
Okay, hear me out on this. Hear me out on this, guys. We'll go somewhere and I'll be like, let's vlog this, let's go. And we'll bring the camera, and then she gets self-conscious about us vlogging in public. She's turn the camera. What if someone says something? It's like, well, if we want to do this, we got to record it.
I know, but I would rather be out. I don't want to like go to a public place with a lot of people.
What?
I want to go to a public place with not that many people. Like I feel like traveling and going outside and like going hiking and or you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like in Walmart recording people going about their business, just trying to go shopping. That's not what I want to do.
So what a vlog channel is. But yeah, I mean, if you want, I can almost be your second channel and just upload the stuff that you don't want to upload.
It doesn't have anything to do with me not wanting to upload. It has me not wanting to get in trouble with what I'm recording to where people get upset and they make us have to leave a store. That's what I don't want. Because I keep seeing people like Jeffree Star, he brings a camera into Walmart, and the manager of Walmart, even though he only has like 2 or 3 people, the manager of Walmart comes up to him and says, we're gonna ban you from this premises.
Did Jeffree Star really get kicked out of a Walmart?
Yes.
He's Jeffree Star though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What?
If he can get kicked out of a Walmart, we can get kicked out of a Walmart, which is why I don't like bringing in camera. Yeah, that's why.
Why does Jeffree Star shop at Walmart?
He was making a video with Shane Dawson. He and Shane Dawson were switching places for a day.
I thought he was more of a Target kind of guy.
He's more of a Gucci kind of guy. He's not a Target kind of guy.
Target's like the better Walmart, essentially.
Yeah, I know, but there's like better options than Target.
I mean, you're not gonna find, shower shoes at Gucci though. Oh, maybe.
Shower shoes?
Or like something random.
Why would Jeffree Star need shower shoes?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not.
Jeffree Star probably
you don't go to Gucci to get a toothbrush.
Jeffree Star probably has a specific type of fountain in his house that is geared to have the right amount of pressure to clean his teeth, so where he doesn't have to use common pleb things like toothbrushes.
I want to be Jeffree Star.
Have you seen the video of
Maybe
him
I can
with?
be.
Have you seen the video of him with the Dolan twins, where they all switch places for a day?
No, I saw
and they
it.
turned
I saw it trending.
They turned it into like. There's this video now on Facebook that says like, watch the Dolan twins be shook at all of Jeffree Star's money for 3 minutes straight. You would die.
Don't the Dolan aren't they like rich as crap too?
They are, but the thing is Dolan twins are strictly YouTube. Jeffree, he opens up about the fact that he has a makeup empire. He's a real estate mogul. He's got businesses and property all over the world. Like, he doesn't just make money on YouTube.
What a god.
He's like he shows off he's got a custom vault in his multi-million-dollar mansion, a Barbie vault that's like hot pink that has 24-hour security. There's a guard outside the vault 24 hours a day that he can afford to pay.
Oh my gosh.
That is 24-hour a day security.
Is he hiring? I'll guard that Barbie vault in my life, I swear to God.
But like,
if he pays
because
me
it houses like purses, like it houses like Birkin purses, and Birkin purses are like $40,000 a pop.
Yeah.
They're really nice, and they're like collector's edition purses that like he has one, J-Lo has one, Madonna has one. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing, where like limited edition versions of purses, because he collects them because they're like artwork. You know what I mean? They're collectibles that gain money. They're assets that he can record on his income, and you know.
Definitely. I almost feel like he's at that point where you just have so much ridiculous money that you just don't even know what to spend it on. So I'm gonna have a Barbie vault, you know, or I'm gonna have a vault with all these purses.
You know what I would do? I would buy like an island. If I had that much money, yeah, I'd buy an island.
I would live in a mansion and just.
He lives in a mansion.
Yeah, I would literally live.
He
like
already
Jeffree
lives
Star.
in a mansion. I think he has a private jet. He has like Lamborghinis. You know, he bought the 007 car in a lime green.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Wait,
in a lime green.
Not the movie one, like a replica, right?
Well, I don't think the movie one was lime green, but like that model, pretty sure, because his boyfriend loves James Bond. So he bought him the 007 car in lime green.
Yeah.
Because it went on, because they found it online. They found it.
We need to have a discussion about the new James Bond.
Ignore how dirty my glasses are right now. Like, I can see how foggy they look.
What do you? I get it. So what else have we been up to in the last couple weeks? Where
we've been in school.
Yeah, we have been in school.
We're in school right now. We're taking some classes, so that's kind of why I've been MIA, and I've been taking care of this one wedding that I've got to get done.
Yeah, I went to school and I graduated just so I could get a job that I didn't particularly enjoy, so I could go back to school and start doing something else. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I think we need to make a video about that eventually, like to help people that are going to school.
Like a little life advice type video?
Yeah, I feel like people would dig it, because we've got a lot of people that are in high school that are trying to figure out what to do.
We got some experience, and I got some experience in that right now.
I got some experience, and my family's got some experience. Yeah, we've got a little bit.
Yeah, for that Octomod channel, vlog style soon.
Yeah.
Ignore my Fortnite videos; they're garbage. I'll probably privatize those.
Yeah. So, all right. So what I really want to do in this one is I want to talk about the fact that we've been married for a year.
Yes.
And we've learned a lot of things, and we've had ups and downs, of course, like any normal human couple. Anybody that is on Instagram that they paint their life like it's perfect, and they paint their life like they never have ups and downs, even in a really good relationship or a really good marriage, they're lying to you. They are lying. It is not the truth. And Instagram just shows you the best of what everybody is.
Kind of destroys the expectations that people have when they actually do get married, or when they're basically doing anything involving life. It's not that grand. They just show the good parts of it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it is that grand.
Can be.
But you also have to offset it with the reality.
Yeah.
You know? Like, things can be that grand.
Yeah.
We're not saying...
Oh, I'm sorry, I misworded that, you know? I bet... Life is great, but it's not 24 action. It's not 24/7 party.
24/7 honeymoon. 24/7 party. 24/7 cookies and sunshine.
Yes.
And we never argue, and nothing bad ever happens.
Except with us, we never argue. Obviously.
Didn't we argue last night?
We won't talk about that one.
The night before our anniversary. Yeah.
I wouldn't go to bed on time. I'm sorry.
I knew we had to drive today, so I
know.
got upset that he didn't come to bed on
I was
time.
up playing classic World of Warcraft until 3:30, knowing full well that I had to get up early and drive for 6 hours. And she comes in at 6 like, why did you not go to bed? And I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed, I swear.
And then we got in a fight about it.
Yep. It was fun. Good times. But marriage is great, and marriage is very rewarding. You just have to keep things in perspective once it happens.
That's true. That's true. I think you have to know what you're getting into beforehand.
Yes, of course.
I think, like, I knew this girl, and she got married young. She got married at 20 and maybe 21, and she was so frustrated in her first year because she was like, we argue all the time, and I hate it, and I hate coming home because we argue all the time. And she was like, I had no idea that marriage was hard work. And I looked at her and I was like, what do you mean you didn't know marriage was hard work? And she goes, well, my parents never argued. And her parents are still married. You know, it's not like they held all their feelings inside and then they got a divorce. Here, I'm gonna stop this for a second.
I mean, I get that. It's see, my parents never fought very much either, and it was kind of a shock a little bit when things wasn't always perfect, you know. But it never is.
I didn't know they didn't argue. Is it because your dad's pretty laid back?
They've never had. They have, but they or not around us anyway. They didn't have any big bouts. They were like, oh my goodness, you know.
Yeah.
But
my parents didn't fight around me, but I knew that they did because I would hear about it later.
Yeah.
And my mom has always been very open with us. And again, ignore my dirty glasses. It's because we've been traveling for several days. I really need to clean them. But like, she's always been very open about the fact that she and my dad are both imperfect people, and that the things that they prioritize and the things that they think are different, I mean, the things that they think are important, a lot of times are different. And so sometimes she gets frustrated because it feels like he doesn't understand, which is everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like that's super reasonable. So it's like my first point of advice would be talk with someone that has a successful relationship, that knows how to fight healthily.
Yeah.
And don't think that your relationship is over the first time that you get into a fight. I also would say, if you've never really wanted to be married, if you've never really wanted that to be something that you do in your life, if you know that you're a stubborn person and you really can't see yourself wanting to change because of somebody else, don't do it.
We know a lot of people like that.
You know a lot of people like that?
Well, we know a lot of people like that who they get in relationships without fully working on themselves, and it ends very poorly because they won't change. And not that they have to change for the worse. I'm saying change for the better.
We're not saying like change yourself, like, you know, if you really hate going hiking and they love going hiking, change yourself for them. Like, no, still be yourself. But I feel like relationships bring out the best and the worst in you.
Yeah.
The right relationship is going to bring out the best sides of you, and the right relationship is going to bring out the worst sides of you.
Yeah.
Because it's going to show anytime that you got into a fight with your family, or anytime that your parents handled things weird and it affected you negatively and gave you unhealthy habits. Marriage brings that out.
Yeah.
Anytime you had an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend that treated you wrong and it made you develop an insecurity because of how they treated you, marriage brings that out. It brings everything to the forefront that's made you who you are with all of your flaws. It brings it up and it makes you have to face them. And you get to a point with the other person where you say, hey, we either need to tackle this so I overcome it, or we need to learn how to deal with it day in and day out.
Yeah.
It's either an overcome or work through it every single time it comes up.
And if you refuse to grow and change, then the marriage won't work out.
It won't work.
It's just not.
It won't work. I feel like that's the biggest thing. And I think sometimes, like, I grew up in a very religious very conservative family, very...
The opposite of me.
Yeah. No, you're conservative, though. Your family's very conservative with their values. But very kind of pushed. I feel a lot of times like the religious community, they like to push marriage almost like as an idol onto young people. And the reason I think they do that is because they're trying to keep young people from getting pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out how to like word this. It's like I feel like they make it an idol, they push it, and then in turn I feel like when people do get married and they realize, oh, all my problems aren't fixed. Oh, you mean it's not a fairy tale and I'm not Cinderella and this isn't my Prince Charming and all of a sudden things are okay? That people get really frustrated, and I think that's where you lead to disappointment and disillusionment, and I think that's where you get a lot of divorces, is because we've pushed this idea that everyone has to be married to be happy.
Yeah.
If you get married, you're going to be complete. And it's not the truth at all. You have to be complete in yourself before you can even look to being happy with someone else, or you're going to have unhealthy attachment problems.
Yeah. Sorry, the camera cut out. What I was saying was, there comes a time in every relationship where the good feelings and like, you get that dopamine high that a lot of people associate with love, and they're like, this is what love feels like, and a lot of times that's the honeymoon phase. It's a lot of people feeling really good about their relationship, and there's no fighting, and everybody's like, oh, we love each other so much, they're all over each other. But there comes a time...
I'd say that's the part when everything is super physical too.
Everything's very physical. And there comes a time where those feelings of like infatuation, they indeed, just like every chemical in our body and every drug, that, it wears off. And when it does, that's when the fighting, that's when the arguing starts, that's when the disagreements happen, and that's when it becomes harder to overcome issues and road bumps in a relationship. And at a certain point, you have to... Love is more of a choice than I would say the feelings of infatuation. It's deciding that you're going to love somebody no matter what, despite when the feelings go, despite when that infatuation goes away, and the good feelings and the dopamine high that you get from that person. It's just, it becomes a choice.
I feel almost like every time that I say I love you to you, it's not just this is how I'm feeling in this moment. It's also, to me, I view it almost as like a promise.
Yes.
Me saying I love you. Anytime there's any argument, we end it with saying that we love each other. And it's not because we're describing how we feel in that moment. We say I love you more as like a promise of like, hey, this sucks right here, feeling like this sucks right now. But ultimately, I'm not leaving, and I'm here for the long haul.
Sometimes that can be hard to do, but we make. I feel like we make it work really well right now, in our case.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very doable in a lot of relationships, as long as the relationship's healthy.
Yeah.
And there's no abuse, and there's no being forced to drop morals or any manipulation tactics that you see.
If you are constantly having to like convince yourself that you're in a good relationship,
yeah,
you probably aren't. I feel like if you're in a healthy relationship, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs and there's going to be arguments. There's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. But ultimately, the good days are not going to be good because of manipulation. They're not going to be good because of gaslighting. They're not going to be good because of guilt. The good days are going to happen because both parties come to each other and they're not pointing the fingers at each other. They're pointing the fingers at themselves. And they're saying, I'm sorry. And they're not saying you should be sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the healthiest way to view it, because I feel like a pattern of unhealthy behavior is completely absolving yourself from all responsibility for any negative action or negative consequences.
Yep.
So these are some things that we've learned, but also going back to when we first got together. How did we know that we wanted to get married? And how did we know that we were choosing the right person? And I'll have you go first, because I'm curious.
You go first.
Me go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, it was like, I knew ultimately that as a person, I wanted to get married. And I think that is the first thing, is I knew that, as a goal in my life was if I met the right person, I wanted to get married. Yeah. And I feel like I knew a lot of qualities that I liked, a lot of qualities that I wanted, And I really feel like I knew that I didn't want to date. I hadn't dated anybody in like 3 years. I knew that I wanted to be friends with someone first. And I also didn't care if it happened really quickly. Because for me, I actually wanted things to happen kind of fast. I always thought that was really romantic and really special when a couple knew quickly. And I always kind of wanted that because my parents had it. My mom had it with her first marriage where my dad passed away. And then my mom had it with her second marriage of the man that adopted me. And so, you know, I knew that I wanted something where there was just instant connection, there was just instant knowledge, and I wanted it all to feel like it fell together perfectly without having to try really hard, because it was a situation where it was really healthy. So I feel like when we met, we were mutual friends, and I was kind of dealing with some emotional stuff because I was trying to figure out relationships with other people. You know, I'd been hurt a few times. I was confused with what I wanted. There was all this other stuff going on that was just emotional. And I remember he and I became friends, and I started opening up to him in general just as a friend. And I remember that I felt very safe. I remember every time he and I talked, I felt like he was going to be honest with me. I didn't feel like he was going to just tell me I was right all the time, which I can't stand. You know, I've got some people that in my life, I feel like every action, everything that I do, it never feels like I do anything wrong. They always feel like even if I'm like grumpy or whatever, I feel like they still are like, oh, Wyndham, you know what I mean? Like you're the best. You can never you can never fail. No problem. You know what I mean? And I didn't need that. I needed somebody to hold me accountable, someone to treat me like an adult.
Definitely.
And I feel like every time you and I talked, it was like you treated me like an adult. And you kind of told me truth, but you still were kind enough. You were kind, and you still made me feel safe to where I felt like I could confide in you.
Yeah.
And I could trust you with my feelings, even if you were telling me ultimately those feelings probably aren't reality. You probably need to adjust them. But I do acknowledge the fact that they're valid, you know?
One thing I noticed right away about me and Wyndham's friendship in the beginning was we would have a lot of discussions. We would kind of debate, we'd talk, and we actually disagreed on quite a bit. And they would kind of go into these like, we had a lot of different discussions. I don't remember what all of them were, but we'd have like anything from like philosophical debates to arguing about, and not even really arguing, but arguing or like talking
debating,
about.
I'd say.
Yeah, debating. You know, anything from politics to philosophical to religion, and we would go on about that for a while, and and then we talk about life. You ultimately want to marry your best friend. You want to be able to have conversation. You want to be able to relate to them on a lot of different ways, and be able to have good discussion. Because I feel like when the conversations end, and it's not someone who's going to challenge your beliefs or like hold, you know, engaging conversation with you, that's when I personally believe that a lot of relationships can end. I think conversation and communication, more specifically communication, is probably the single most important thing. Yeah. In any relationship, whether it be friend or romantic partner.
Yeah. I think the thing is when it comes to people that don't necessarily agree with you, it's not saying like surround yourself with a bunch of people that just disagree with you on like everything. But it's also saying don't surround yourself with milquetoast yes men. Yeah. It's basically saying like, you know, as a whole, most of the time with a lot of morals and principles and standards, the things that it really takes to dictate the major decisions that we have in life, we agree on a lot of those. Values matter. Values matter. Make sure that you're with someone that you share values with.
Yes.
But opinions about overarching ideas, it's great to have differing opinions because then you hold somebody accountable. You just agree with them on everything. You never get to a point where you like hold them accountable in their growth. So it's like, because it's important for both people to grow. And that's kind of where we found ourselves, was we were like,
we share values. We have great discussion.
Great.
We talk about anything.
And we get along great. And the thing is too, is I feel sometimes like people say, oh, communication is important, and then they don't explain how. They're just like, oh, communicate. It's like, okay, well, what is communication? What's an example of that? You know, like communication is not just like me talking at him, telling him what he did wrong. Like, that's not communication. Communication is both of us openly discussing and listening.
Yeah.
And both of us being very, very raw and very, very real. Like, we had to talk about something earlier today where I had to be open and be like, hey, when this happens, this hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
If this phrase is said. When you say this, it hurts my feelings. And him having to go, you know, I grew up with my parents talking like this and it wasn't a big deal. And they're happy. They're happy and they're married and they don't think it's a big deal. But me having to be like, when you say it to me, it hurts my feelings. You know, like, just because something was okay with you growing up doesn't mean that it's okay with me. And us having to say, this is where we're different in our beliefs here, so where do we go from there?
Yeah.
You know? And ultimately, like, where do we go? How can we compromise so that way, you know, I feel like my feelings are valid about this issue, but also you feel like every time some minuscule problem hurts my feelings, you have to completely change your language. Because it's like, we don't necessarily want that either.
A lot of girls and gals nowadays have a very difficult time with communication and expressing themselves and being raw with people. And I will admit,
Did you say girls and gals?
Girls and gals. I mean, yeah.
A lot of people.
Shush. A lot of people have a difficulty with communication, and they feel very uncomfortable being raw. I would say I struggled with this a little bit in the beginning. Is I had a hard time being raw and expressing myself, and even now I still struggle with that a little bit. Is being like completely raw and being able to express my feelings to her, so she knows what's ultimately wrong, and how we can work on it to fix it. But it's something, even if you're not good at it, you really have to try.
You have to. Because there was this thing where he was constantly cloaking it by shutting himself
I'd be like,
off.
I'm good. I don't want to talk about it.
He would shut himself off. He would shut himself away. And then guess what? 2 weeks later, the exact same issue would come up, and he would shut himself off and shut himself away. Well, guess what? How can I learn how to be patient with something that I don't know exists?
Yeah.
How can I be patient and understanding for something if I don't even know that the issue itself exists?
And when you hold it in,
it's the dog.
Dixie.
She's sneezing.
No. When you hold it in and you let it bottle up, you will explode. And that's what happens. Is like you try to, if there's an issue in communication or a misunderstanding, you'll be like, I'm good, don't want to talk about it. It'll it comes back up and it comes back up and it comes back up in your mind. It stays here, and then in the end you blow up, and then you end up saying things you don't mean, or you hurt people. You hurt people around you, and that happens all the time with friendships and romantic partners all the time.
Yeah.
But if they can't handle being addressed, if you're being raw with them and you're expressing yourself and there's a consistency with not being able to handle you expressing yourself in that way and in addressing issues in a relationship, that is not good either.
Probably a red flag.
That is a red flag. Hey there. But what I was saying was a little bit of context on me is I never thought I would. She talked about herself being someone who always knew she was gonna be married. I wasn't particularly like that. I love people very hard when I get in a relationship. I love really hard, and all the relationships that I get into, it's what happens is that I love really hard, and then they would over time, the feelings, I guess, or that euphoria that you feel, fades, and then it was difficult for them to adjust to that, and I got cheated on, I would say, by 2 different people, 3 times, or I found out about 3 times, and it was just after about a year or 2 being with them, they decided that it was better with somebody else, and I forgave one of them twice, and then in the end she still broke my heart, and then the next girl we dated for about a year broke my heart, and I never thought that someone could be as serious about me as I was about them, and that was a big thing with me. And I never thought I'd get married, honestly, at 23, but I found somebody that I could honestly see that was my best friend and had been my best friend for many, many months, and we were probably talking and not really dating, but talking and friends for about a year before we got married. And it was a big thing where it was like, I realized that she was someone I could hold a conversation with that I knew I would get along with for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
No matter what. And because she was my best friend.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at right now.
So I feel like out of the things that we've learned this past year, to not hold expectations of what you think it should be.
Yep.
But also hold someone accountable to where you think they can go. I feel like that's important.
It's a big takeaway.
If that makes sense. So, but anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in with us.
Thank you, and keep subscribe to Octo because I'm going to start uploading more.
Go find his channel. Go find his channel. He's going to try to upload more.
Yeah, I'm going to try to upload more.
And hopefully, I can too in this season. It's just been really busy because half the time, most weeknights, like we're spoken for.
It's so busy, man.
There's so much going on right now. Life is hard. Life is hard. It gets harder when you find someone else that you're like living with, because then you have two schedules.
I know. Adulting is difficult, man.
Adulting is difficult.
And then working around other people's schedules to
hang out with them.
Yeah, to accommodate, hang out. You know, it's
if you can not grow up for as long as possible, do it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here for so long, being with us, and thanks for everybody that tuned in a year ago with our first video.
It's been a wild ride.
A wild ride, a good ride, but a wild ride.
Yes, a good one, but a wild ride.
Anyway, guys, all right. Talk to you later.
See you guys.
Bye.